Hey guys, today you're going to get back your popsicle. You're going to get back your background that we made last time. Remember that was a texture rubbing. You're also going to need to get a small brown square off of the front table, as well as one color that you want to be for your popsicles. The very first thing I need to do is I need to cut out my popsicles, and that's going to get glued to my background. So very carefully cutting it out. Watch out so that you don't accidentally cut off your popsicle sticks. After you cut out your popsicle, you can throw away all those gray scraps. We don't need them anymore. And then, using dots of glue, we're going to glue our popsicles onto our background. Notice when I'm going to glue mine, I'm going to glue it so that it's vertical. Alright, let's use up some of that paper. No need to do it horizontal. So dots of glue all the way around the edge. I'm looking for good glue users today. And then you can put a few dots of glue on the inside too. But start by going with the outside edge. And glue it down. After I've got that done, cut out and glued on, I can work on my popsicle sticks. I'm going to cut up some small squares and rectangles I'm going to put onto the sticks. I'm going to use my brown. So an easy way to do this is to cut a long, thin rectangle. Then you can take that rectangle and just cut some snips into it. You can have some that are kind of longer, maybe some that are a bit shorter. After I've got a few squares cut out, today, usually I tell you not to glue like this when we do stuff, but I'm going to give you permission today because we do have a lot of little shapes to glue on. So I'm just going to put a little line of glue on my popsicle stick, and I can start gluing little squares and rectangles onto those popsicle sticks. We saw with the pictures of the mosaics that those tiles don't touch, so you need to leave a little gap between each square and rectangle. We don't want them touching. If you got some rectangles that are too big, just take a scissors and trim them down a bit. So if you're the type that drew only one single popsicle, you only have to do one stick. But since I did two, I'm going to need to glue down squares for both sticks. Alright, I'm done with my popsicle sticks. Notice that none of my squares are touching. I can throw any of my brown squares left over in the garbage. I don't need them. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the popsicle. I'm going to cut a big strip. Make sure it's not too super huge, alright? I don't want super thick tiles. And I'm just going to cut up some squares and some rectangles of all different sizes. And just like I did before, put a line of glue and glue those down, leaving a little bit of room between each one. If you've got a bite in your popsicle, you're going to have to work around that. All right, remember some of you guys put bites in them, so you might have to turn a few. When you get this far, you're all finished. We probably won't get this far. That's fine. We can have some time next time to work too. The very first thing I did was I cut out my popsicle and glued it on. Then I cut up my brown square into smaller squares and rectangles and glued them onto the popsicle sticks. Remember how I just used one line of glue and then I could stick them right to that line of glue. Usually I don't want you to do that, but today I'm fine with that. Also, remember that you don't want any of your squares touching. Right? Keep them kind of small. None of my squares or rectangles are too huge. After you finish with your popsicle sticks, then you can move on to doing the actual popsicle. If you have any of these little squares or rectangles left over when you're finished, these go in the garbage. If you have a bigger piece like this, we can put this up in the scrap bin. Please clean up after yourself when you're all finished.